Hey everybody. Hi everyone and welcome to my summer tarot reading party. I am so happy to be here with you. I'm just reading, I see there's lots of comments already in the chat, so I'm just I'm just having a look at those. So take a moment to say hello, introduce yourself, let me know where you're from. I'm excited to be here to read live for you. I'm going to be reading with the Elemental Wisdom Tarot for this reading. And I'm just going to adjust my webcam here. All right, so we're going to go for 1 hour, and I'm going to try to do as many one-card readings for you as possible. Couple things to mention before we dive in. I am offering private readings right now, so if you want a longer, more in-depth reading, I'm going to be offering those until the end of this month. So I think that's July 31st. So if you're interested in getting a private reading, I'm going to put the link just in the chat if you want to check it out. Okay, I'm going to post it right now. All right. I only do private readings a couple times a year, so in January and then in the summer. So if you want to get a reading from me, now is a good time. Okay, so I'm going to just have a look at some of the comments here. Hi, Nadia. Nadia, I always see your comments on my weekly readings, so thank you for always watching my videos. Okay, hello, Loris, Deb, Meredith, Eric, Sophie, Miss Vicky, Marie. So many people that I recognize. All right. Okay, so I'm going to shuffle my cards, and I'm going to do like a little warm-up reading. So I'm going to pull one card for all of us, like a general reading. I find I like to start that way because it just gets me warmed up, gets my tarot reading juices flowing. So I'm going to ask my deck, what do we need to know right now? What should we be focusing on currently? And the card that I'm going to pull for all of us is Knight of Cups. All right. So the Knight of Cups. Okay, so this is encouraging us to really focus on our creative side. The Knight of Cups is he really knows how to tap into his creativity, but more than anything, how to tap into his emotions and his emotional realm and how to use that and channel it into his creations. He uses his emotions and his emotional realm as fuel for his artistic expression and the things that he creates. And so that is the advice or suggestion for us, is to tap into our emotions and our feelings and find a way to channel that into some kind of art form of some sort. It could be painting, it could be writing, it could be poetry or dance or acting or whatever. And the Knight of Cups is also a card of progress and of moving forward. And so I think that it's also letting us know that many of us are moving forward in the realm of emotions and getting better at processing our emotions and facing our emotions and being with our emotions. All right, so I'm just going to have a look here and choose someone to read for. So TJ says, hi, Kate. I would love a reading to see if I'm on the right path. All right, TJ. So I'm just going to shuffle my deck once again. Okay, so TJ, the card that you got is Five of Wands. Okay, so Five of Wands it's a card of conflict. And what I'm getting from this card is that you have a lot of inner conflict. And that is kind of reflected in the question that you asked. Am I on the right path? So part of you maybe thinks you are, part of you might, isn't sure. But what I'm getting is that you're feeling conflicted. It's like inner conflict. There's a part of you that wants maybe to do one thing, and there's another part of you that maybe wants to do something else. And then there's other parts of you that maybe want other things as well. And so this is causing maybe a sense of conflict, like you're not sure if you're making the right choices or the right decisions. And a lot of this comes from the choices you're making might be in alignment with a certain aspect of yourself, but it might not be in alignment with all the aspects. And that's just a natural thing that sometimes happens. Um, but I think instead of giving you a yes no answer, are you on the right path? This card asks you to look at the areas that you feel conflicted in. So in the area, whatever conflict as it arises, and it could just be, you may not even feel it as conflict, like you might feel it um, as a sense of uneasiness or self-doubt, but it's like an uncomfortable feeling. And so this card is asking you to look at that. Does that feeling have any messages for you? It's kind of going back to the card I drew for everyone, the Knight of Cups, and that being about, honoring your feelings and emotions and working with your feelings and emotions. And that's what I'm getting with the Five of Wands is pay attention to where you feel conflicted and where you feel a sense of uneasiness or self-doubt, and sit with that feeling for a little while, write about it, work through it. And I think that's going to help you get a sense of clarity. I hope that made sense, TJ. All right. Lena says, how can I feel more joy in my life? All right. I like that question. Okay. So Lena, the card you got is Seven of Cups. All right. Hold on. Okay. Hopefully my camera is focusing. I feel like my camera is kind of blurry right now. Okay. Seven of Cups. All right. So the key to joy. Seven of Cups is about having lots of irons in the fire, lots of ideas, lots of options, and maybe feeling a sense of overwhelm, not knowing kind of what to focus on or what door to go through, what to choose. I think that feeling more joy, this is a weird answer to your question, but I feel like narrowing your focus might be helpful for you. So if it feels like you're spread really thin, if it feels like you're doing a lot of multitasking and trying to keep a lot of options open, that might be really draining you of energy and causing you a lot of stress. So kind of honing in your focus, like focusing your focus, narrowing your focus a little bit, taking some things off your plate, putting some things aside and being like, okay, I don't have to give this as much attention right now. I'm just going to put this on the back burner. Putting things on the back burner and focusing on one or two things right now might be what you need. That might kind of free up some of your energy, and that might lighten the burden and help you feel a little more joyful. Let me know if that makes sense to you, Lena. Okay. So David says, I've got a bit of rare spare time on my hands this summer. What should I be focusing on? Okay. All right, David. So according to my tarot deck, you should be focusing on Six of Coins. All right. So this is a card of generosity. It's a card of helping others. And it can be read kind of two ways. It's about the balance, sort of the give and take between giving and receiving. But what I'm getting from this is that you want to spend your free time helping others in your life in some way. It could be volunteering, it could be helping a friend, it could be Yeah, something. I feel like you have some kind of expertise or knowledge that you could offer to others and be really helpful in some way in your community. And that feels like a good place to start. I'm just looking to see if anything else comes to mind. But no, helping others that need help. I don't know if that was the answer you're wanting, but that's what the tarot gave. That's what the tarot spat out is helping those around you, and even just helping people. Like maybe there's people in your life that you care about who don't have a lot of free time, so helping out with them for whatever they need. Of course, if that feels good to you, if that feels horrible and you think, oh, that's the last thing I want to do with my free time is help people, then by all means you don't have to. but that was what came through with the cards. All right. Clarka, I don't know if I'm pronouncing your name right. You're from the Czech Republic. Welcome. You're a big fan, and I've inspired you. Oh, thank you. You would like a general one card reading. Okay. So I'm going to shuffle my deck again and draw a card for Clarka. Okay, and you got Page of Swords. All right, so Page of Swords is, well, I like to say the pages are like the students of the tarot. The pages are learning, they're still figuring things out, and the Page of Swords is learning about the Suit of Swords, and the Suit of Swords has to do with the mind, with thoughts, with mental focus, and really recognizing the power of your own mind and how you can really utilize what you focus on, what you think about, the thoughts that you think, in order to affect your life and shape your reality and create things. Your mind is very, very powerful. And so what I'm getting from this card, Clarka, is that you're in this time in your life where you're learning, you're starting to recognize the power of your mind, the power of your thoughts, the power of the way that you conceptualize things, the way you think about things. All of that has a big effect on the kinds of experiences you have. And so now is the time to really focus on that and focus on learning more and getting better, like really practicing using your thoughts, using your mind, and really paying attention to what you're focusing on. Like, what do you spend a lot of time thinking about? Especially, what are the repetitive thoughts going on in your mind? What are the narratives and stories that you tell yourself? Really starting to pay attention to those things. That's the message that I get for you. All right, so Marie, you said you're looking for help going through grieving the loss of your husband. So I'm so sorry, Marie, that you've recently lost your husband. So let's look at the tarot deck. I'm going to shuffle my cards again and see what advice the cards have for you. Ooh. Okay, so Marie, the card you need to see right now is Knight of Swords. So we just had the Page of Swords, and now we have the Knight of Swords. And the Knight of Swords is a card about, well, I'm going to describe what the Knight of Swords is about, and then I'm going to relate it to your specific issue of grieving, Marie. So the Knight of Swords is about, he's very driven, he's very focused, he has a lot of energy. He's really good at just honing in and focusing on one thing, blocking out all the distractions and just going for something and keeping really busy. And so what I get with this card, and this isn't normally what I would tell people who are grieving, because I think that when you're in a state of grieving, it's important to grieve and not to suppress that desire to grieve and the feelings of loss and sadness. You don't want to suppress them, but at the same time, the Knight of Swords is telling you to stay busy, to have something to focus on. So having some sort of goal or focus is going to be helpful, and it doesn't have to be anything big. It can be something really small, but having one thing to focus on each day, one thing that maybe needs to be done, just one thing each day, and focusing on that is going to be really helpful for you. And this isn't about distracting yourself or keeping yourself super busy so that you don't have time to grieve, but it is about like having, one thing each day that you need to focus on, that you need to do. That's gonna help. It's gonna help sort of lighten some of your burdens, I think, and give you something to focus on. And so that's what I get with the Knight of Swords. Also, the Knight of Swords is riding a hawk. So if you look at the picture, he's on this bird. And if you think about that for a minute, he's able to fly, he's able to rise above. And when you're up in the ethers, or when you're rising above, you can look down below and you can see the big picture. You get this bird's eye view. You get like a very different perspective of things. And I think that is also what the Knight of Swords is suggesting, is sort of stepping back and seeing the big picture here. Instead of just, because I think when we're grieving, we can just be like so in our grief and just like, down in the depths of our grief. And it's sometimes hard to see forward. It's hard to get the big picture. So kind of stepping back and seeing the big perspective of things might be helpful as well. All right. Okay, Angela, I'm looking for help with intention setting for an upcoming transformational experience. All right. Whoops. Okay, so Angela, you got Judgment. Okay. For some reason, it takes a while for my camera to focus. I'm just waiting for it to really focus on this image before I take it down. Okay, you guys get the idea. Okay, so Judgment is an interesting tarot card because I think that, and I often say this, but I wish this card wasn't called Judgment, because I feel like that really, it really clouds our perception of what this card is all about, because this card isn't really about judgment. This card is about actually transformation. So this is interesting that you're, Angela, that you're have this upcoming transformational experience, because Judgment really is about reinventing yourself. It's about starting a whole new chapter, not just starting a whole new chapter, but starting a whole new life. It's like, well, in the Rider-Waite version of this card, there's people coming out of coffins. So it's like this, you're being like reborn. It's like new life. You were dead and now you're alive. Like it's that kind of imagery. And so it is this kind of reawakening. It's the symbol of starting a new phase and of like reinventing yourself. And if you'll notice on the card, there's tons of butterflies. And butterflies really are a symbol of transformation. If we think about, how butterflies go in a cocoon, they liquefy themselves, and they start as a worm and then they transform themselves into beautiful butterflies. So I think that this card is just confirming that this is this is going to be a really big transformational experience for you. But in terms of intention setting, help with intention setting, think about, if you see this experience as being transformational, what are you transforming into? Like, what is that? What are you wanting to transform? Ask yourself that. What am I wanting to transform? And if this experience totally transforms me, what do I want to be transformed into? Like, what do I want to be different, or improved? What's going to be different once I go through this transformational experience? And that should be a starting point for setting your intentions. All right. Okay, Susan asks, what is the best way for me to care for myself right now? All right. All right, Susan. So the card you got here is 5 of Coins. All right. So this card's going to give us some insight into how you can best care for yourself. And what I get here is that there is something that some kind of loss that you may still be in the process of grieving or still need to grieve. Maybe it's something that happened in the past, but you didn't fully grieve it or you didn't fully release it. And so the 5 of Coins is about processing those feelings of sadness, of grief, of kind of letting go of something. It could be, when I say loss, it could be loss of maybe you had certain expectations or a vision, and then that just didn't go well. It didn't go the way you thought. So there's a sense of loss there. It could be a loss of a person, a pet, something else. But whatever it is, really fully grieving it will be helpful for you. There's a few other things I get. There is this like cleansing feeling with this card. There's a lot of rain here. And I first interpreted that to be sort of grieving emotions, sadness emotions, allowing yourself to really feel that. But there's also kind of a theme of like cleansing. And it's like having a good cry, like really like releasing, like an emotional release. Again, that feels like that's going to be helpful for you to not hold your feelings back or hold your feelings in, but just allowing those difficult feelings to be felt and to pass through. What else do I want to say about this card? Ooh, I'm noticing that the woman on this card has her hand flat on the earth. And it makes me think of the importance of grounding and connecting with the earth. So I think putting your hands in the dirt could be really helpful, like gardening, getting out there, doing something physical. However, whatever you find to be grounding, whatever helps you feel connected to the earth and to the planet, it could just be going out in nature more, going outside, or working with crystals, whatever your methods are for really connecting with the planet and connecting with the earth. That is one way of really helping yourself right now. And I'm just trying to see what your original question was. Oh, how to care for yourself. Yeah, grounding, connecting with the earth. All right, Grace asks, what's the most important aspect in my life that I need to focus on presently? All right. So Grace, you want to focus on, 4 of Cups. All right. So 4 of Cups is a card of feeling kind of lackluster and feeling like something is kind of missing. You're sort of craving to have that feeling of you want to feel excited about life. You want to, feel excited, and you're just not feeling it. That's kind of the gist of the 4 of Cups. Feeling kind of bored with things, feeling like things are kind of stagnating, kind of stagnant. So the 4 of Cups asks you to ask yourself, where are you stagnating? Is there any areas of your life that you're bored with, that you feel like things just aren't going anywhere, nothing's really happening, you're feeling kind of stagnant and stuck and kind of bored? Ask yourself that. Is there any area that feels that way? And that is a starting point to know what area to focus on. I just want to see your original question. Yeah, so I don't get the sense that Well, okay, so I don't get the sense that this actually necessarily relates to like one specific part of your life. It's more just a feeling of paying attention to where you feel bored, where you feel stagnant. Um, and that's going to give you a sense of what areas you kind of need to work on. Okay. So someone earlier asked me, what's my favorite tarot deck and why? I don't have a favorite. I have some favorites. I really like the Lightseers Tarot. I love the Everyday Witch Tarot, the Modern Witch Tarot. I like this tarot actually, the Elemental Wisdom Tarot. I don't really have a favorite deck because I find I go through phases where one deck's my favorite and I use it and use it and use it, and then I get into another deck and I use that for a while. So it kind of switches. I like decks though that are easy to read. I'm a lazy reader, so I like a deck that's, I can just take it out of the box and connect with it right away. So I do like decks that have kind of that traditional Rider-Waite type symbolism, that don't deviate too much from the Rider-Waite deck. And I do like colorful decks. I have a few black and white decks that I also love, but I do like to see color. I like decks that have like a lot of movement and a lot of action and stuff like that happening. Yeah, so those are the kinds of things I look for in a deck. All right. So I'm going to shuffle my deck again. I'm going to choose someone else to read for. So just a word of warning or a word of wisdom or whatever. It's for everyone that I read for today, is to take everything I say with a grain of salt. Tarot isn't really meant to, I don't think tarot is meant to really tell us what to do. I don't use the tarot when I'm trying to make decisions. I don't ask my cards, what should I do? Should I do this or should I do that? I don't typically use the tarot in that way. I use the tarot to get ideas and suggestions and inspiration. And so that's always my intent when I give people readings, is that hopefully I say something that just kind of sparks something in their brain, that gets them thinking on another path and gives them some kind of ideas. It's not really meant to be a thing that tells you what to do or what to do with your life. So I just wanted to kind of put that out there for those of you that I'm reading for, and also those of you who are watching my readings, is that you want to take everything with a grain of salt. I don't know more about your life or life in general than you do or anyone else. I'm just pulling cards and saying stuff, and hopefully it gives you some ideas and some inspiration. All right, Adrian. Adrian says, hey, Kate, could I have a message, please? Yes. Okay, Adrian. So the card I got for you is Ten of Swords. Okay, so Ten of Swords is a really intense card. It's a super intense card, and it's actually a card of healing. When the Ten of Swords comes up, it's letting you know that there's something that needs your TLC. There's something that really needs your healing and your time and your attention. What I get with the Ten of Swords, the Ten of Swords depicts someone who has kind of given up. They're at their wits' end. They're exhausted. They've kind of given up. They're at the end of their rope. They're just like, oh, they're overwhelmed by things, and that is kind of the energy of the Ten of Swords. So ask yourself, are you overwhelmed right now? Are you overwhelmed in certain areas of your life? It's kind of like the last person I read for. I said, what areas of your life do you feel bored and uninspired and stagnant in? This card is asking you, what areas of your life do you feel overwhelmed in? What areas of your life are you stressed out in? These are the areas that need your time and attention. And just seeing if there's anything else that comes to mind. There is actually a grounding energy with the Ten of Swords. If we look at the imagery here, all these swords are stuck in the ground. And so there is like this feeling of almost like giving up, just sticking your swords in the ground. But that's actually a good thing because that allows you to rest. So I do feel with this card that some rest is needed, some downtime, some time where you're just not busy, you're not active. It feels like that's something that could really benefit you right now if you're able to swing it. All right. Okay, Claire. Claire, can I please have a general reading? I've been asking for 30 minutes. So I can't read for everyone here. I'm sorry. I'm going to be here for an hour and I'm going to do as many readings as possible. But yeah, I'm sorry. I won't be able to read for absolutely everyone. Judy says, what can I do to be more inspired? All right. Okay, good. And thanks, Claire, for your understanding. Okay, so Judy, what can I do to be more inspired? Page of coins. All right. Beautiful. Learn something new. You need to learn something new. There's a part of you that is like an inner student that when you engage that inner student and you start learning something new, it lights things up for you. And I'm the same way. So whenever I'm in the process of learning something new, it makes all other aspects of my life come alive. Like, not to go on and on about myself. I know this is your reading, Judy, but to just divert for a moment, I'm taking this art course and I'm learning these new art techniques. And at the same time, I'm also taking a meditation course and I'm learning new meditation techniques. And just learning those new techniques and seeing myself get better at them and having some success just brings me this sense of excitement and inspiration and energy. And I actually feel like I'm inspired in all other areas of my life too. And I just feel this burst of energy and joy happening. And so that's what I'm getting for you too, is that by learning something new, so maybe you're going to take a class, maybe you do an online class, an in-person class, maybe you read a book about something, maybe you learn some other skill. The Page of Coins, though, is the suit of coins or pentacles is about the physical aspect of life. So this is about learning something that's physical. So like learning some kind of craft, how to build something, how to make something. There's like a real physical element to this. It could be a form of dance or exercise or something like that. But learning something new is going to be helpful for you. All right. Okay. So Angela says, may I have a card, Kate? Thank you, from New Zealand. Great. All right, so Angela from New Zealand, the card you get today is Five of Cups. Okay. So Five of Cups is telling you, don't focus too much on what hasn't worked in the past or what isn't working or disappointments. Don't overly focus on kind of the negative aspects of life today. Focus on what is working. Focus on the positive. Focus on what you have, what you're happy about, what you're grateful for. This is going to help shift your energy. And if this doesn't really resonate with you, if you're like, I haven't been feeling down in the dumps lately, because the Five of Cups depicts this mermaid and she's kind of sulking and she's looking at all the cups that have spilt and she's not seeing the cups in the background that are still standing. So it's about kind of getting distracted by what isn't working, getting overly fixated on that and not recognizing all the positive things in your life. But the overall message of the Five of Cups is about shifting your focus onto the good things, onto the positive things. It doesn't mean that you should ignore what isn't working or not look at it, but you just don't want to fixate on it all the time, 24/7. So this is about reshifting your focus. So the advice I get for you today is pull out a piece of paper and a pen and write down 3 things that you're really, really grateful for today. 3 things that you really truly appreciate in your life, and 3 things that you are looking forward to today. So 3 things you're grateful for and appreciate, and 3 things that you're excited about or looking forward to today. Oh, good. Angela, you said it does resonate. Okay, good. Oh, hi from New Zealand. Lots of people from New Zealand. Okay, Claire, can I have a reading? Yes. Okay, so Claire, the card I have for you is, ooh, 10 of Swords. Second time this card has shown up. Okay, so 10 of Swords. So this is interesting. You guys are going to get to see me reread the same card for someone else. And I'm not going to say the exact same things about it that I said the first time. Although the first time I read it, I said that it's it's saying that there's something in your life that needs healing, that needs your attention. So I will say that I get that again. Um, with this card, there's something in your life that needs attention and healing. However, I am getting the feeling that surrendering and kind of giving up will be helpful. If you look at the body language on this card, the woman is lying on her back with her arms kind of like this. Like she's just like exhausted herself and she's thrown herself on the ground and she's just like, oh, like that. And that's what I'm getting from this card is that what might help you right now, especially if you're like struggling to make sense of something or struggling to make something happen or figure something out or resolve something and it's just not going anywhere, is take a break, take a breather, put it aside for a minute, just allow your mind time to be empty. Really just give yourself time to rest, to stop trying to make everything happen or work or pan out, and just give yourself a breather. Give yourself time to kind of catch your breath. All right. Okay, so next I'm going to read for all right, Korea Design Inc. Thank you so much. Can I have a reading? Yes. Okay. So I'm going to reshuffle my cards. All right, so the card I have for Create Design, I don't know if I'm saying that right, is Judgment. And again, we've already had this card, so this is interesting. So we have Judgment. Judgment will come up in a reading for someone when they are either going through a process of transformation or they're on the cusp of, starting a new chapter in their lives. And Judgment asks you if you could recreate yourself or recreate your life however you wanted, what would you do differently? What would you change? What would you add? What would you take out? If you could be like a butterfly and transform yourself, how would you transform yourself? What would be different? And essentially, this card is saying that you're sort of going through this transformational phase where you have the power to do that. But what's really important here is setting intentions. That's really going to help you transform in the way that you're wanting and transforming in like a really sort of intentional kind of way. But to also be open to transforming in new ways and having new kinds of experiences and being open to new energies that you maybe have never experienced before or haven't thought possible. This is a very exciting card about kind of starting a new era, a new phase in your life. Okay, Denny, thank you so much for all you do. Would it be possible to have a card? Yes, Denny. Okay. Okay, so Denny, the card I have for you is Six of Coins. We're getting a lot of repeat cards. This one came up already too. All right, so Denny, you've got the Six of Coins. And this card asks you to Look at your relationship to giving and receiving. And do you feel like there's balance in those two things in your life? So, are you more comfortable being a giver than a receiver or vice versa? So, this is about balancing out the part of you that helps people, that gives, that is kind of outward focused energy. So, this is also like being in creative mode, being productive, giving your time, giving your energy, and then being in receptive mode. So, being able to receive help from others, being able to receive attention and energy from others, being able to receive others' time and focus and, attention. And also, I think that when we're doing things like reading or watching TV or like consuming content, we're in a receptive mode. So you have to take that into consideration too. And do you feel like there's an imbalance between those two things? Are you in a receptive mode more often than you're in giving mode, or vice versa? And yeah, asking yourself that. I think by creating more balance between those two things, you're going to find that you have a lot more energy, a lot more joy, and you're going to move through life with a lot more ease if there's a balance between those two things. Oh, Marcos, hey. Yes, I will pull you a card. Okay. All right, Marcos. So the card for you is Two of Cups. All right. Two of Cups is a fun card. This is a card of relationships. So I don't know if you're in a relationship right now or you're single, and if you're happily single or looking for a relationship. But the Two of Cups really speaks to that theme of relationship. It says that a happy, healthy partnership is possible for you right now. So you might be kind of entering a time where this is more of a possibility. If you're already in a relationship, this is about deepening your connection. But the Two of Cups is it's about merging with someone who is very different from you. And keep in mind, for those watching, this doesn't necessarily have to be romantic. So this could be a romantic relationship, it could be a working relationship, friendship, um, all kinds of relationships. But Two of Cups is about sort of collaborating with someone, coming together with someone who may be very different from you. Maybe they have a very different way of looking at the world, of operating in the world, a different skill set. But you're complementary. It's like puzzle pieces fitting together. Like you're complementary. You complement each other in a big way. There's also an enhanced ability to communicate with others here and to communicate from the heart. So, in all your relationships and in all your communications, focusing on communicating from a place of your heart, from a place of compassion and understanding, and almost like thinking about communicating, like when you're speaking to someone, thinking about speaking. This is going to sound weird, but speaking to their soul, speaking to their spirit instead of just their personality. Because I think so many times when we're communicating with other people and we're interacting with people, we're interacting from a place of mind, and we're connecting with them on an intellectual, mental kind of level. And that's the place that we kind of talk from and communicate from, is this place of mind. How would you start to communicate from a place of heart? What would be different in how you communicated with people? Would you have more eye contact? Would your speech maybe be slower? Would you, be paying attention to your breathing? Would you be breathing more deeply as you communicated with them? Would your shoulders be a little more relaxed? Would your body language be different if you were speaking and communicating from the heart, from a place of soul, speaking to their heart, to their soul? Yeah, so that's what I get with the Two of Cups for you. Okay, so LJ, you said that you're a big fan. You've been watching my videos lately. Thanks, LJ. And you would like a card. Okay. Oh, but it says you're embarking on a journey of learning the tarot and increasing your spiritual growth. Okay, I'm going to draw a card for you here. Oh, I love Miss Vicky. Thank you. I love your comment. You said your reading of everyone's cards all resonates. Just sitting and listening helps. Thank you, sweet Kate. Hope your cats are getting along. My cats are getting along. Thank you. And that's something that I should mention here is that that's something that I want to mention here is that these readings, even though I'm reading for specific people and specific questions, everyone who's watching can benefit from these readings. So in a weird roundabout way, if you're here watching, the stuff that I'm saying applies to everyone in some weird kind of way. So hopefully that will help some of you who, I won't be able to read directly for today. Yeah. Okay. So drawing a card for, who am I drawing a card for again? LJ. Okay. So LJ, the card for you is, ooh, Ace of Wands. Okay, that's cool. So you said you're embarking on this journey of learning tarot and spiritual growth and exploration. And so that's wonderful that you got the Ace of Wands, because with an ace, every ace represents a new beginning, a fresh start. And there is this like sudden burst of inspiration and energy and ideas that come with the Ace of Wands. So you are entering a time right now where you're entering a time of increased inspiration and maybe even creativity. You might find that right now you're getting a lot of ideas for things. And as you start to learn the tarot and as you start to, however you say it, increase your spiritual growth, this is going to also increase your inspiration and the creative part of your brain. Because really, I think that tarot and spirituality kind of speaks to the right side of our brain, or the creative side of our brain. And so as you start to dabble in these things, you're going to get new ideas. You're going to feel inspired. You're going to feel more creative. And it's important because you're not going to be in this phase forever. You're not always going to be super creative and have all these ideas. So it's important right now that you really make the most of this and you really utilize this time and write down ideas as they come to you. So as you get inspired, as you get creative ideas, write them down. Don't tell yourself that you're not going to forget them, because you might. So write everything down, keep a record of it. And then later on down the road, when you're not as inspired and not as creative, you have all that stuff written down so that you can go back to it and get inspiration and ideas. All right, so I'm going to do a reading for Zainab. Thank you, Zainab. All right, so you would, can I have love reading? Okay, so so Zainab, I just want to clarify before I draw a card. You're looking for a reading about your love life or relationships. And maybe just let me know like what your situation is. Are you single, in a relationship? You don't have to give me details, but just let me know if you're single or in a relationship, and then I'll draw a card for you. In the meantime, while I'm waiting to get a response from Zainab, I'm going to do a reading for oh, actually, I want to answer this question. MJ says, may I ask your opinion? In a reading regarding a workplace job, what would you think if you saw the Three of Swords? I'm still trying to understand it, but time is not showing anything. Okay, if doing a reading about a workplace or a job and I get the Three of Swords, I see the Three of Swords as being about, traditionally it's a card of heartache and feeling disappointed or let down or even betrayed by someone. But I also see this as a card of clarity. So getting clarity on something, being able to take your rose-colored lenses off and see a situation as it is, warts and all. Because I think sometimes if we want to love something, we look at that thing through rose-colored lenses. So if we meet a person or if we get a job that we really want to love, we tend to be really optimistic, and we tend to not see flaws right away. And we tend to always give that person the benefit of the doubt. And so the Three of Swords is really about taking off those rose-colored glasses and just like looking at things through that harsh light of day, that harsh light of reality. Okay, so Zainab, you said you are single. Okay, perfect. I'm going to draw a card for you. Okay, so Zainab, you got 10 of Swords. This card loves coming up today. Okay, 10 of Swords. 10 of Swords is asking you to, it's saying, don't try so hard. If you've been trying really hard to meet someone, to make it happen, if you've been single and you're wanting a relationship and you're trying really, really hard, the 10 of Swords says, give up for a little while. This is interesting. Sometimes when you give up, that's when something happens for you. I remember that's how I met when I first met my husband. I had I'd had a couple of crappy relationships, and I thought, you know what? I'm going to give up on focusing on this, and I'm just going to focus on other stuff in my life for now. And I'm going to take a whole year off of dating, and I'm just going to put it out of my mind and focus on other stuff for a whole year. Because in the past, dating had been, and relationship had been a big distraction and a big suck of energy. It really like drained me energetically. So I thought, I'm going to take a year off of dating. I'm not going to focus. I'm going to do other stuff. And that's when I met my husband. And I think it was because I wasn't fixated on meeting someone at that time. I was putting energy into myself and my life, and that maybe that made me more attractive. It also put me in a way where I wasn't trying to meet people. I wasn't trying to make a relationship happen or work. And it just kind of happened organically. And so that's my advice to you with this card, is to kind of just give up for a little while, not permanently. I'm not saying throw in the towel permanently, but take your energy off of trying to make a relationship happen and put it on something else for a little bit of time. And you could even set a time limit, like I'm going to focus on other things for 3 months or 2 months or whatever time frame feels good for you. But that's what I get with the 10 of Swords. Okay, Sheila. Will I be successful in going back to college to finish my bachelor's degree in biology pre-med? Okay, so I'm bad, Sheila, at predictive readings. I should have said that at the beginning of this live event. I'm not good at predictive readings, but I'll draw a card for you and I'll see what the tarot says. Okay, Sheila, the card you got is Knight of Wands. I'm going to say yes, you will be successful. At least that's what I get when I look at this card. That's what I think of. The Knight of Wands is very driven. And I think as long as you're driven and as long as you feel excited about doing this. Now, if you feel a sense of dread or just like, oh, I don't want to go back to school for this, like, oh, which I don't think you feel that way. But I'm just saying, if that was how you felt, then I would say, I don't know if you're going to succeed. But as long as you feel a sense of real excitement and drive and passion about going back to school for this, then I don't see any reason why you wouldn't succeed. The Knight of Wands is a card of adventure and energy, and the Knight of Wands knows how to tap into his passion and what he's passionate about, and that is what propels him forward. And so one way that you could stay motivated throughout your program is to connect your schooling with what you're passionate about. As long as there is that connection, as long as there is meaning for you in going back to school, as long as it's connected to what is important to you and what you're passionate about, then that's going to help motivate you. It's going to help you, stay motivated in times where your energy and focus starts to wane. So that's going to be really helpful for you. Okay, Starly, may I have a reading? How am I doing in my growth right now? Okay, Starly. Okay, so Starly, you got King of Swords. Lots of swords cards are coming up today. Okay, so you got the King of Swords. How are you doing in your growth? I think that you're doing well. You're making a lot of headway. You're successful in a lot of ways. You're getting far when it comes to growth. And I don't know what kind of growth you're referring to. Spiritual growth, I'm not sure. But personal growth, I guess. It's the King of Swords is saying you're succeeding, you're doing well, but you might be taking this whole growth thing a little bit too seriously. The King of Swords is confident, he's effective, he's productive, he's powerful, but he's super serious. And in that way, he's a little bit joyless. I mean, just look at him. He's, look at his expression, and he's on this throne of spiky horns. I mean, he's just a really serious dude. So the card is saying, like, you're doing well, but try not taking it so seriously. Try bringing in maybe some playfulness, some joyfulness, not putting pressure on yourself to always be growing and expanding, and relaxing a little bit, having fun with it. I think that's actually going to help you go further in the long run. Yeah. Okay. So Starly, you said spiritual and mental growth. Yeah. So yeah, having fun with it, not taking it too seriously, kind of relaxing a little bit in that process, I think is going to be really, really helpful for you. Yeah, and you said that resonates, and you hope it resonates with others. Yeah, and that does kind of go for everyone who's here, is to like not take, for those of you who are on this path of spiritual growth or personal growth, for those of you who are learning tarot and developing like your intuition and all that, being able to just sort of let go and have fun with it and not take it super seriously, it can be really amazing. It can be really helpful. Okay, I'm just going to scroll up and read some of the upper comments here. So we're almost at the hour. We're almost at 1 o'clock. So I'm going to pull a couple more cards, and then I'm going to close the event. Two things I want to mention before I do that is I am offering private readings right now on my website, and I'll put the link to where you can learn more about that. So I'm offering a 9-card personal reading. I call it a summer check-in reading. And the way that I do my readings is they're done remotely, so I don't do them, face-to-face. You send me your questions ahead of time, and then I sit down with my cards. I tune into your energy, and I do the reading, and I record my voice. I have my trusty snowball microphone and I record my voice, and then I send you the recording and a picture of your cards, and then you can always ask me clarifying questions after. But yeah, that's how I do my reading. So if you're interested, I posted the link in the chat, and if you're watching the replay of this video, the link will be below the video in the description box, and I'm going to be offering those private readings until the end of this month. So just for a couple more days. So till July 31st. And then I won't offer private readings again until January. So if you want a reading from me, now's a good time. Okay. So I'm going to shuffle my cards, and I'm going to do a reading for Greg. Greg asks, what is, oh wait, I lost it. Hold on. Greg says, what lies ahead for me on my upcoming trip to Ontario? All right. Again, Greg, I'm super shitty at doing predictive readings, but let's give it a go. 8 of coins. So 8 of coins is actually a card of hard work. So I don't know what you've got planned for this trip to Ontario. If you're doing manual labor or what's going on there. Be prepared be prepared to be busy on your trip. Be prepared for there to be lots of, not necessarily work, but lots to do, lots of busyness, not a lot of downtime. You might find it a little bit tiring, a little bit exhausting. So make sure that you plan for some rest days and have fun. All right, I'm gonna draw one more card. Oh, Denise from New York City. Hey, Denise. You would like a general reading. Okay, so the card I have for you is, oh, the Empress. Yay, this is such a good card to end on. Okay, so you got the Empress. We didn't get a ton of major arcana cards today. I know we got Judgment a couple of times, but I think that was it. So, okay, so the Empress. The Empress is a card of abundance and creativity. The Empress is sort of a very sort of mother goddess kind of energy. And she's all about utilizing the energy of nurturing. So I want you, everyone here today, to think, what do you want to nurture right now in your lives and in yourself? What do you want to nurture? Because the things that you nurture are the things that will most likely take root and grow. And how we nurture things is we spend time on them. We spend time thinking about them. We put energy into them. We focus on them. We take action in towards that thing. That's how we nurture things in our lives. And thinking in this way, thinking, okay, what do I want to nurture in my life? That is very different than the goal oriented, like, what kind of a goal do I want to set? What do I want to make happen? Like, that's more of a linear perspective of like making the goal and then thinking, okay, what kinds of action steps do I need to take to get to that goal? That's a more, I guess, like a more masculine yang energy, outward focused way of doing it. The Empress is a more feminine, sort of holistic, kind of a more of a roundabout, different way of doing things. And this is where you nurture and nurture the things that you want to grow. So that is the question that the Empress has for all of us, especially for you, Denise. But for Denise, the Empress is letting you know that you're probably entering a time of increased creativity. And so it's going to be important for you to tap into your creative side and utilize those creative energies. The Empress is also laid back. She is really good at just sitting back and going with the flow. She doesn't stress about making things happen. She doesn't get into that, like, because when you think about it, when you're trying to control things and make things happen, often that comes from a place of fear. The Empress is not fearful. She is completely at ease with herself and with the world around her. And so she just simply thinks, okay, what do I want? What do I want to nurture? What do I want to grow? And I'm just going to do that. Like, she has this really kind of like laid back, relaxed approach to doing things. Okay, so I'm just going to read some of the comments here. Oh, thanks, you guys. Oh, and thank you so much, Laura. And Laura, did you have a question? Did you want me to draw you a card? I'll draw you a card. I'll draw you a card and then we'll wrap up. Now, before I wrap up, I just want to say, I want to say thank you to everyone for being here. And I'm so sorry I haven't done a live in so long. And every time I say I'm going to be doing them more often, I think I will start doing them maybe monthly. We'll see. Yeah, at least monthly, I think. That's my goal. That's my intention. So thank you everyone for joining me. I will pull one more card for Laura. But I want to let you know sort of where you can find me if you want to learn more about me or tarot card reading. So my website, dailytarotgirl.com. I'm going to put the link in the chat here. My website, dailytarotgirl.com, has lots of free tarot learning resources on there. I've got videos on all the major arcana cards. I've got tons of stuff on there. If you're, I've got reading prompts, ideas, exercises, things to do with your tarot cards. There's lots of fun stuff for you to check out. And I have some workshops and classes and stuff like that on there as well. And if you want to be notified of the next time I do a live event, or if you want to be notified of any kind of like upcoming events, classes, anything like that, I'm going to put the link to how to get on my mailing list, how to subscribe to my mailing list, and then you'll stay in the loop. And I don't spam you with a bunch of crap. I don't send out very many newsletters. So yeah. Okay, so I'm going to draw a card for Laura. Oh, and just finding me 7, you said that you love my newsletter. Thank you. Thank you so much. All right. So Laura, the card you need to see right now is, ooh, Ace of Wands. All right. So yeah, this is the second time. We've had a lot of repeat cards this time, which is interesting. So you've got the Ace of Wands. So the Ace of Wands is all about getting inspired, really channeling your creative energy, really not so much channeling your creative energy. It's about getting your creative energy sparked, firing things up. I want you to ask yourself, Laura, what kinds of things inspire you creatively? For me personally, I love going to art museums. That really inspires me. Museums in general inspire me. Taking an art course, something like that. Those are the things that really inspire me. Learning, going to a museum. But for you, maybe it's going out in nature. Maybe it's like going to the beach or hanging out with people and socializing or reading weird books or whatever. But just ask yourself, what kinds of things light me up? What kinds of things get me energized and excited and creatively inspired? You're entering a time where it's important for you to get inspired and get ideas and write those ideas down. The Ace of Wands also makes me think of a pen. See that wand looks like a pen or a pencil. So that could be a pen that you use for drawing and visual art or for writing. So writing is important. That's what I'm getting from this card. You want to spend some time writing. It could just be writing down your ideas, writing down some kind of action plan, journaling about, again, your ideas, your feelings, whatever you like to journal about. But putting pen to paper feels like an important aspect of the message here. And also one more thing is when I look at this card, I'm noticing the wand is straight up and down, and it makes me think of being in alignment, sitting up straight, being in alignment, being like a channel. And that's what happens when we get creatively inspired. It's like we're a channel. We take the ideas from, the fourth dimension or the ethers, whatever, the ideas and the inspiration, and it comes down into us and we make it happen on the physical realm. And so that's what kind of being a channel, that's one way of thinking of that. And that's something that I get with this card. But I want everyone to think, because this card has come up twice. And so I think that is very telling. I think when cards come up a couple times, it's also a message to the group. And so I think that we should all be asking ourselves, what helps us feel inspired? What helps us feel creative? And what lights us up creatively? So thank you everyone for being here. I hope you've had fun. I hope you enjoyed this. And hopefully I'll see you on my next live event. I don't know when that will be, but hopefully not too long. So I hope everyone is having a wonderful, wonderful summer. And I'm just going to read some comments here. Yay, reader on call. You had fun. Awesome. Yeah, thanks for being here, everyone. I'm glad everyone had fun and enjoyed it. Okay, so I'm gonna sign off. So I hope everyone has a wonderful rest of their day. Bye-bye.